public school districts in the state of Wisconsin, 90 of them were looking for new superintendents at this time last year. So as Nancy pointed out, superintendents don't typically last in communities for 15, 20 plus years. Some do, but the statistic is more like 4 to 5 years. That being said, I do want someone who will be here for at least 4 to 5 years, and I would love to find the superintendent who could be here for 10 years plus. As Jody Geenan mentioned, you know, do we pay our superintendent a lot of money? Well, yeah, we do, and we get what we pay for. And paying our current superintendent the amount of money we paid him got us the state superintendent of the year from South Dakota and the former secretary of education from the state of South Dakota. The superintendent is not an elected position. It is someone who we can look for, whether it be a master's degree and a superintendent's license or a PhD or 20 plus years of experience. We can be picky with who we hire. And so that's why superintendents get paid what they do. They are not elected officials. They are highly paid, highly educated CEOs of large organizations. So we're in the process. The application is out now. I have no idea how many people have applied, but we will hope to get another great superintendent with hopefully some of the same qualities that Don brought us for the 2 years he was here.
Thank you. Last question, Jody, is going to you. Are you in agreement with the current school curriculum, or should there be changes? And if so, what would you change?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm not excited about grading for learning if that's going to become something for K through 12th grade. I do believe in the traditional 100-point grading system, at least for the high school, because that's the world, first of all, that we live in, and that's what our students are going to be competing in when they get through, and anything that they decide that they want to go to after, whether it's being at the tech school or going to college, going to graduate school, they're going to have to be in a system where they're going to be touched on what their grades are, you know. And I do feel like the new grading for learning, maybe as a younger students, it might be a nice approach, and it also helps to figure out how the student is progressing. But by the time they get to high school, I think that they need to really kick it into being able to be with it, fit in with the real world and what college is going to be, and not be woken up to something different when all of a sudden they get to college. I do think that we should get back to some of the basics, like phonics should be like the main thing that we're teaching for reading. And actually using textbooks and handwriting things out when you're doing math, so that you can actually understand how the math works, to start learning it by writing it out by hand. And so I think there are things that should be changed.
Thank you, Nancy.
Craig, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. Let's see. Are you in agreement with the current school curriculum, or should there be changes? And if so, what would you change?
So again, another broad-based question, because there's a lot of curriculum that goes on in our district from K through 12. You know, we look at the curriculum, actually not just we, school board does look at it, but there are teams of teachers that get together and discuss which type of curriculum they're going to be looking at, which type of new textbooks or old textbooks or whatever it might be. So for instance, at the latest school board meeting, we just approved a new, actually we didn't approve it yet, I believe, we just received the information on a new biology curriculum. So one of the teachers explained to us that the textbook they were currently using was 15 years old, and there have been some enhancements. So I think that, you know, we continue to look at our curriculum on an annual basis. All of the curriculum in the West Bend School District is on a rotation. We're being reviewed by a teacher subcommittee, as well as some administrators are involved in that. And then the recommendations come to school board, and they don't just come to us one night and we approve it. They actually provide those to us, and then they provide us additional information, and then we would vote on it at a later time. So I think there's a huge difference in curriculum versus the way we grade. So Jody had pointed out the standards-based grading. That's not curriculum. That's the way you're actually graded. So curriculum is the actual information that a teacher is teaching to the students. So I do think we have a good handle on our curriculum. I think we have a nice, effective, alternative way that we look at new curriculums and the way that we vet those. And I'd like to see us continue that process.
Joel?
I like the way we evaluate our curriculum in the school district. It's typically on a 4 or 5 year cycle where, like like Nancy mentioned, the high school biology curriculum is being evaluated right now. There are times where a curriculum is being evaluated and nothing changes, that the team of teachers and staff and parents and principals who take a look at a certain curriculum decide this is still relevant, still aligns to what we're trying to get accomplished in the building, and nothing changes. So I like the process that we use, and we all have to remember that the people who are looking at this curriculum truly are the subject matter experts in that curriculum. Our teachers who are teaching science up at the high school not only have a teaching degree, a lot of them have master's degrees in chemistry or in biology or in whatever. And so it is important for the school board to be a part of the process, but our parents and community members are also invited to be part of that process too. So I like the way that we evaluate our curriculum and include the experts during that process. Another piece, just touching on this grading for learning, this is a pilot that our assistant superintendent is piloting this year in a handful of classrooms in the school district. The grading for learning is not something that the board has approved. It hasn't even come to the board for approval. So I think what Ms. Skeenan has brought up several times about grading for learning, that came up just as an information session during a committee of the whole to the board, gathering information. And again, if it's time to make a change, whether it's curriculum or grading, we get a lot of input from not just our teachers and staff, but our community, and then ultimately it's presented to the board.
Tommy?
I also appreciate the changes that have been made since Laura Jackson came on board a couple years ago. Her area of expertise and interest is in curriculum specifically, and she has done an excellent job of methodically evaluating each area of study in each of the schools, elementary through high school. She's making sure that there's cohesiveness throughout each line of study. Parents are also encouraged to weigh in, and the teachers work together to make sure that things flow smoothly and we aren't missing any gaps. And I can keep reiterating what Joel and Nancy have said, but yeah, I'm really happy with the current state of how the curriculum is evaluated. I also want to bring up grading for learning just because it's been mentioned. I am in favor of it at the elementary level, K through 4. I am opposed to it at the high school level because I think we need to have a more traditional method of grading the students so that they're prepared to compete with other high school students as they graduate high school into whatever endeavor that they pursue. I'm not sure how I feel about it in middle school, 5th or 8th grade at Silverbrook and Badger. We're still talking about that and learning more about it. So I guess that's it.
Okay, we're kind of at the end of the road now, so Nancy, you have an opportunity to give your summary.
Well, again, I asked for your support on April 7th as I hopefully enter my second term on school board. If you've been to any school board meetings, I am the one who probably grabs the microphone the most and asks a lot of tough questions. I also take a lot of phone calls or run into a lot of people who have questions about the school. My door is always open. I'm happy to discuss items with anyone, and I pride myself on someone who really takes a lot of time to get to all sides of the story. So it's easy when you hear something in the community to assume that that's the honest truth, but we all know that there are always two sides to one story. So it's important for me to always get that information to make an informed decision. So I encourage you to vote on April 7th and vote for Nancy Justman. Thank you.
Joel?
I'm proud of the work that I've done on the board the past 3 years, and it hasn't been easy. There's certainly even more challenges that lie ahead, but it's been a long time since we've had 3 incumbents running for re-election for the board. And when the 3 of us got elected 3 years ago, the online bloggers and Facebook commentators said, oh great, now we got a school board that doesn't have any experience. Well, you're looking at the experience right here, right now. And I think we're moving this school district in the right direction. Again, your tax mill rate on your property is the lowest it has been in well over a decade. We've been extremely transparent with where we're going with our budget and discussions about where we need to go with declining enrollment and facilities. Our Facebook pages, not our Facebook pages, but our school district Facebook pages, our individual school Facebook pages, we're communicating more than ever. Our superintendent now has a guest column in the daily news where we're trying to reach out to the community even more. And I would encourage you all to come to our school board meetings. All of our board meetings, since I've been on the board, have been videotaped and posted to our websites. For the first time ever, we are taking minutes of closed session meetings. And again, online bloggers like to say, well, you guys have a lot of closed sessions. Well, you do have a lot of closed sessions when you're getting ready to hire a superintendent or when you're laying off staff. But we actually take minutes of all of our closed sessions and then approve those minutes, which are available to the public. So I think we're being transparent with what we're doing. We're moving the district in the right direction, and I think a vote for Nancy and myself and Tani will give this community stability on the board, and appreciate your vote.
Thank you. Tani?
I've really enjoyed the opportunity to serve on the school board. It's really important for me to help influence kids in the way that I was as a kid. Education is one of the most important things that's going to determine your future. And because we have a superintendent position open, I think it's very important to have consistency on the school board, because it's really the primary role of the school board is to hire the superintendent. So it would be a shame to have to not have the consistency that we have now as we fill the role. So I would really appreciate if you would vote for me so we can continue our positive progress in the District of West Bend. Thank you.
And Jody, you get the very last word.
All right, well, one of the main reasons that I'm running is because I do think that the school board could be more transparent with the public. For one of the things, we used to have a citizen's guide to the budget, so parents could look at that, and taxpayers could look at that. We have not been able to find that. It doesn't exist anymore as far as I know. When it came to the referendum last time, I know that we had there was a point where the public was only told that there was a $47 million, and so a rule was violated. They were supposed to go ahead and let you know that with however many years that we were borrowing the money, that we had interest on that, so that $47 million would be $74 million, and that we also still owed $32 million on the past one, so we actually had $106 million that we would be paying for. I also know that when it comes to the superintendent, if I were part of the school board, I would give the superintendents their full contract to work out, to give them time to prove themselves instead of spending about $300,000 of taxpayer money before the person's time is up. When it comes to getting parent and public feedback on curriculum, I think that's very nice, but I really do think that the way they set it up, they do it in such a way that parents are not able to actually get there. This last time on the biology book, they offered.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, with that, I'd like to thank all of the candidates. I wish all of you